I'm Josefina Valdés. I'm from Chile.
Okay.
Yeah, you know Chile?
Of course. Well, I know Argentina better.
Yeah, no, your wife is
Yeah.
Argentinian. And you speak Spanish?
Solamente un poquito.
Ah, pero bien.
Sí, más o menos.
¿Hablas español con tu esposa?
A veces sí, pero normalmente en inglés porque él nació en Argentina, pero
okay.
She grew up here.
And you support Argentina in the World Cup?
That's why I'm tired this morning.
I imagine.
Yeah. It went to extra time last night.
Yeah,
so it was 2 in the morning, yeah.
Okay, and about the Odyssey, I watched it yesterday. You were amazing.
Thank you.
Really. And how was the most difficult part of being in such a big production?
Oh, man, I don't even know what the most difficult, but the whole thing was difficult. But,
yeah, I imagine.
But difficult for everybody. That's what made it really fun.
The huge cameras.
Huge cameras and huge technical challenges. A lot of elements in every shot. Like, everything had to be coordinated.
Yeah.
And Chris doesn't use special effects to kind of clean things up, so it has to work in camera, in the shot, or else you have to try it again.
Yeah, when I watch you, like, in the middle of the sea,
Yeah.
I was like, maybe he's freezing right now.
Oh, we all were, yeah. But that was the thing. It wasn't just me, you know. It wasn't, you know.
A group thing.
It was a group experience, and you know, and if you were cold and wet, and you turned and looked, there's Chris Nolan, and he's cold and wet too. You know, he was in it with us.
Yeah, when the director is like you, that's better.
Yeah.
And also, like, the magazine of the camera is really short, so it's just like 3 minutes filming or something?
Yeah, I think 2.5.
That's nothing.
It's very fast, and so for longer scenes, you know, we'd run out the 2.5 minutes, and then you would have to pause, and then they would reload, and then you would continue, and then pause, and then reload, and so for some of the longer scenes that were more intimate, you'd go through 3 camera rolls. So it would take like a half an hour just to get one take.
That's the new. It's like old thing, but also new.
Yeah, exactly.
It's weird.
It felt actually to me like movies felt when I first started to do them, where there were these things that you know, oh, there's a microphone here and there's a camera here, and it was all new. It felt like that. It felt like starting over in some ways.
I imagine, and also they are huge, but they're not noisy anymore.
No, when the box is on it, when that blimp is on it, it's quiet. But it's also 400 pounds, so it's very...
A lot.
It is a lot. It was a lot for the camera team and the grips. They carried that box up mountains. They carried it.
Yeah, and
incredible.
How do they film, like, in the air?
Those are all helicopter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a huge production.
IMAX camera on a helicopter, yeah.
Nice. And also, Matt, do you think Odysseus is like a hero, a victim, a fighter? Do you like your character?
I love him because he's very complicated, and
Yes.
and he's living with the decisions that he makes, and having to wrestle with the consequences of his choices.
Yeah, it's like the hero's journey.
Yeah.
But he regrets also.
Yeah, which I think is relatable, especially when you get to my age.
Okay. I imagine. Thank you, Matt.
Thank you, Josefina. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Gracias.
Yeah,
muy
nada.
bien.
Yeah.
I'm Josefina Valdés. I'm from Chilevisión Noticias. And Christopher, I want to ask you, do you think your projects, your movies, keep human creativity and abilities alive?
I think very much. I've always valued an analog approach to filmmaking. I've always valued going to real places with real people and getting the input and the creative input of a massive cast and crew. That's one of the great joys of being a director. And so I think even as we use a lot of computer graphics and things in the film, and we use all the latest technology, all the different tricks, but at the heart of it, there's artistry. So even when we're doing visual effects, we're photographing as much as we can for real, and we're giving these artists, these compositors, these human artists who work with that material, and we're in an intense dialogue with them, and so they're developing the look of all these shots. So yeah, everything in the film is a testament to human creativity and what that can do.
Yeah, like keeping art alive.
Yeah.
And also, is there something you couldn't film, you didn't film because it was too difficult, or you just film whatever you want and you prove like everything can be filmed?
I think there were a lot of things in this film that were huge challenges that I didn't know how we were going to do. But you get a great team of people around you, and you say, okay, how can we get this across? Like, how can we, get out on the deck of a real boat in a real storm and things like that? How can we, drag the Trojan horse across the plain of Troy and everything? And at every turn, my team, they were coming up with solutions, they were coming up with ways to do things that, you might have thought were impossible. I mean, to take, the city of Troy and for real, and without the use of visual effects, just destroy it, burn it down, whatever. I mean, things like that. Just, what I was able to film, what my team was sort of putting in front of me, and what we were finding around the world, just constantly amazed me.
Matt Damon said, like, it was really nice to see you, like, freezing with them in the sea. Like, you were part of the team. You were not a director that, like, just watch away. You're part of them.
Definitely there on set. You have to inspire people. You have to lead from the front, and that's something that Matt Damon understands more than anyone. I mean, he was such a great partner in this because, yes, he's an incredible actor, and the character is a very, very difficult character. It's wonderful to see him get to grips with this and do what only he could do with it. But he also just has an incredible attitude. So he's right there with a sense of optimism and energy leading from the front, and that just inspires everybody, myself included. We're all there, happy to support him.
Thank you, Christopher. And have you remembered the first time you read The Odyssey?
I honestly can't remember the first time that I read it or encountered the story. I think, like for so many of us, it's sort of always been there in my life and in the back of my thinking. I mean, I remember being about 4 or 5 years old and seeing a play at school that the older kids were doing that had a Trojan horse in it.
Yeah.
And they tied Ulysses to the mast for the sirens. I remember that kind of thing. But it's just an elemental, foundational part of our literature and the way we see the world.
Thank you, Christopher.
Thank you.
You know my country? Something?
Yeah. I've never been.
Yeah, never? Okay, you're totally invited. And about The Odyssey, why you think it's important to keep these stories alive in actual times?
Oh, that's a big question, and I'm not the filmmaker, but from my point of view, these epic stories that are from the beginning of time carry so much resonance in how we reflect on society today and our relationships with each other, politics, love, faith, compassion, the endurance of the human spirit, like how far we're able to go, what we're able to achieve with faith and love and the gods.
And for you?
I think you answered that beautifully. Honestly, I think there's a reason why pieces of work like this last for so long, and I think ultimately there's while being larger than life, there is a very human story there. Like you're saying, it's the themes of love and loss and coming to terms with the decisions you've made and the people that you've hurt, the pain that you've caused, having to confront those things, going through tests. I mean, they might not be like the ones that Odysseus goes through, but we all are tested in this life in many ways, and it is about the decisions we make and having to deal with the consequences of those decisions, and that's just a very human experience.
And you both are goddesses, but they're really different to each other. How do you describe your type of goddess?
Ooh.
Because you are kind of evil and you're kind of not. A little bit.
Evil's a really tough word.
Is she just reacting to the environment in which she is living?
Yeah. Maybe a bit of a mirror. Yeah. I don't know. Not to you, but to them.
At the end, she's not that evil.
She's not evil at all.
No, not
I
at
don't
all.
see that she's evil. I don't see it.
Yeah.
No.
Maybe in other interpretations, but I think you make her incredibly vulnerable and human.
Yeah, you made it amazing. And you, why is important, your goddess?
I think in many ways we are, like you're saying, a reflection of everything that Odysseus is having to come to terms with and reckon with. And I really think it's the only way that he can get home.
Yeah.
You can't go around it, you have to go through it. And he's warned over and over and over again that this is coming. And it's like, it's Judgment Day or whatever you would want to call it. But it's the only way through is to come to terms with the pain that you've caused and the people that you've hurt, and to open yourself up as a human being and put yourself in the shoes of other people. And I think that's really, a huge part of the reason that Athena is guiding him, because maybe she believes that he can see something greater.
Yeah, that's true. Thank you both. And Zendaya, you have lots of fans in Chile.
Oh. I hope that everyone in Chile, I hope you guys enjoy it and are able to immerse yourself fully in this beautiful world that Mr. Nolan has created. And I'm excited for everyone to see it.
Yeah.
It's really something so special.
Thank you both.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you both. And I want to ask you, what was the most difficult part to work with someone like Nolan? Or not difficult,
yeah.
but hardest in the whole movie?
Hardest. I wouldn't describe it as it was a physical process, but when it's happening, you're not necessarily thinking about it as being hard.
Yeah.
So when you go back and you kind of recount the things that you have been through and did, people are like, oh wow, that seems really difficult. But while you're in it, you're just kind of You're taking all the steps together, so it doesn't necessarily feel like that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, and maybe working with these huge cameras, this was something new maybe for you both.
Well, I had the experience of working with the IMAX on Wakanda Forever, and but this was the first film shot entirely on IMAX, so there were certain limitations that made it, I guess, more exciting. You have 2.5 minutes for the roll of film, so there were times when we had to cut the scene in chunks in order to get the whole thing, and that's just a different muscle that you have to exercise as an actor, knowing that you're gonna have to start in the middle of nowhere. Just suddenly at the climax of the scene or something like that. I think that was the hardest thing. And they developed this technology to silence the camera.
Yeah.
So
that was the craziest.
Yeah.
So you can talk next to the camera.
Uh-huh. And of course we would do takes without the camera just to get the sound. So it was about getting into the rhythm of it and getting familiar with how this process was going to be.
It was the every once in a while I would look over and you'd see the IMAX on like a steady cam or on this huge block.
Or an helicopter.
Yeah, and I would kind of, my mouth would drop, being like, wow, they're actually moving this thing? Yeah. And and I think when you watch the movie, that's the thing that's really amazing for me, is you watch it and you're like, yes, it was shot all on IMAX, but it's very free. The camera, it's very fluid, and it's moving in ways that you wouldn't expect that weight. And
You're
I think that's
also a
really
director,
awesome.
so I imagine you learn in this movie like as an actor and also as a director.
Oh, for sure. You get to see a different way of working, and you get to kind of take things and learn new things. But I think the thing for me that's really amazing is the kind of openness and problem solving, and again, because you're on location, the location presents challenges for anybody, and it doesn't matter if the movie is as enormous as this. You're still on location, and this doesn't work. Let's figure something else out, and everybody's there doing it together. Oh, why don't I try this? Why don't you try it? And it's beautiful to see that.
Yeah, you were a whole team.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for the interview.
Thank you.
Josefina.
¿Cómo estás?
Bien, ¿de dónde tú eres?
De Chile.
Ah, chilena. Qué
Sí,
bueno.
sí, chilena. I'm ready? Okay. I'm Josefina Valdés. I'm from Chile, and my program is Chilevisión Noticias. We're from the news. So nice to meet you both.
Nice to meet you as well.
Do you know Chile, something about my country?
I really want to go.
Yeah.
I know that much.
You're totally invited.
Yeah.
I'm reading Roberto Bolaño's 2666 and loving it, reading it in Spanish.
Yeah, that's a good
He's a
one.
great Chilean writer, one of the best
Okay.
in the last decade in the world.
What your characters represent in the Odyssey journey?
Different forms of loyalty and a differing relationship to their king. You know, for speaking for Eurylochus, you know, he's someone who has seen Odysseus at his best and seen him as a great leader who's led them through a war and won them that war. But now he's seen the effects that war has had on Odysseus, and he's having his faith and his loyalty kind of eroded. But I think it's a different thing for Himesh.
Yeah, but you both are important for Odysseus.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Himesh is sort of he's the most loyal character in Western literature, and he's waiting for his boss to come home and takes care of the dog that's trying to stay alive for his boss. His son is trying to keep the image of his father alive, trying to protect his mom. It seems like it's so interesting that the king is gone and everybody, chaos is everywhere, and there's these few loyal people who are trying to keep it all together.
Yeah, and they really hate the character of Robert Pattinson.
Yes, he's the villain. He's the villain.
He's the villain.
He's Antinius. You know, he's
Yeah.
the suitors, which represents people in life that are negative, people that want just pure ambition and greed.
Mm-hmm.
He did it beautifully.
Yeah, he did it. And you represent the hope too. Like
Yes,
the
he
hope of the story.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
you know, especially Eurylochus is kind of holding on to the hope that they're going to get home, they're going to find a way, and in a sense, the decisions that he makes towards the end of the piece that maybe don't lead them to the best place, they are born from that hope. He's like, well, I've got to give these men some hope that we're going to be okay.
That's interesting that we both had the hope, because
Yeah.
I have the hope that he is going to come home and everything's going to be the same. Penelope has a hope that he's going to come home. There's so much hope.
Yeah, you're like the hope in home and in the journey.
Yes.
Yeah. And also, it was hard to do it because you were in the middle of a boat in the sea with a big armor. So I think it seems complex.
It was, yeah. Look, it was very physically demanding, but actually being in that boat in the middle of the sea, being on the mountains, being in all these locations, it meant I didn't have to kind of take a leap of faith about where I was. I was there. I didn't have to imagine anything, you know.
Yeah, and also you seems like a really good group. Like, if I don't know, one was freezing, you're like freezing together.
We really looked after each other. No, it was true. We really looked after each other, man.
Yeah.
Those group of guys are going to be, you know, we're pals for life, and we all really carried each other through. It was a really special time.
I mean, there's so much trust in the ensemble because of Chris. Chris creates this beautiful ensemble of people. We're all equal. There's no diva treatment, and Matt would help me out. Because I couldn't see, he would take me to lunch. He would wait for me and take me to lunch because I couldn't see where I was going. So there's this real camaraderie, and we all really cared for each other.
Yeah, I see that. Like, if someone is wet, he's wet as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Gracias.
Thank you. Gracias por la entrevista.
De nada, un placer.
Un placer.
Hey there, how are you?
Fine, you? How are you?
Good, thank
So
you.
good, thank you.
Okay. I'm Josefina Valdés. I'm from Chile, South America, from
Oh, I love
Chilevisión
Chile.
Noticias. Do you really? You
Yeah,
like Chile?
I've been there. I went
Really?
to just not long enough, but my best friend did her junior year abroad there, and so I went to visit her during spring break. So I was there for a few weeks.
In Santiago?
Yeah,
Oh.
and then started in Santiago, and then kind of took the bus around everywhere.
For where?
It's awesome.
Oh my gosh, I can't remember what it's called. Can't remember the name, but we went to see Neruda's house.
Oh, in Valparaíso.
Valparaiso. I was actually thinking it's Valparaiso, but then I thought, no, I can't possibly have gotten that right. I was 20.
That's
Oh,
really
still
cool.
up
It's
there.
really
I've done
colorful.
something like-
So, about the movie, about the Odyssey. You both wait a lot to Odysseus. You search a lot of him, but do you like your relation, your mother and son relation in the whole movie? Because you fight a lot, but also you love to each other.
Yeah. I think that we're catching Telemachus and Penelope in a specific moment where Telemachus, and it's just really, it's like developmentally very natural. Telemachus is starting to chafe at the boundaries and starting to push back about certain things and is starting to kind of, assert your independence. And to a mother that knows how dangerous the world is, who's already had to say goodbye to one great love, the idea of letting go of her son is very painful, so that creates friction between the two of them.
Do you feel the same?
Yeah, it feels like you're sort of meeting both of the characters at almost a tipping point. It feels like you're kind of we're stepping into this story right as their whole world is about to fall apart. And I think maybe it's his youthfulness and his naivety to how dangerous the world is that gives him the confidence to kind of leave. But what's so funny is the contrast between the arguments that we were having as the character and then the fun that we were having, behind the scenes. It's much easier that way around, isn't it? When you like really get on and then you have to pretend to not like each other.
As opposed to not get along and then be like, I love you. Yeah.
Tom, it's your first time working with Christopher Nolan and has worked a lot with him. But have you asked an advice maybe to Anne or anyone in the casting before working with Nolan?
I think for me, I like to observe people in the way that they work, and when I admire someone in the way I admire Anne or Matt or the rest of our cast, what I love about being an actor is that there's so much time for you on set to just kind of watch people work and see how they handle certain situations. And because a lot of my scenes were with Anne, I had so much time to sort of step back and go, how is she handling a day in the life of a Chris Nolan film set? So there couldn't have been a better blueprint for me to follow. And, that has been invaluable.
And I think we were both just paying attention to what Matt was doing.
Yeah. It was like...
Matt was unbelievable. You would think that a role like this would have kind of brought out somebody's prickliness or a bad side, and I just don't think he has one.
Yeah.
It was like that. That acting exercise when you like mirror someone? That's what we were all just trying to do with Matt. Just follow him.
How am I that chill and that joyful?
Ooh, smile on my face.
Smile on my face.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for
Thank you so much.
on the interview. And you're invited to Chile again, to Valparaíso.
Can't wait to come
too.
back.
I was going to say, I said, where's my invite?
You too can go to Chile. You're totally invited.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
It's lovely to meet you.